Greetings and grace. Is enough wisdom being shared? Oh, you already know. We talking about it. Yes, we are talking about it. All right. So today we are in. Hold on. Today we are in Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Excuse me. Excuse me. Had a nice good nap. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get up. Wisdom, a good name is better than fine perfume, and the day of breath better than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting, for death is the destiny of everyone. The living should take this to heart. Frustration is better than laughter, because a sad face is good for the heart. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. It is better to heed the rebuke of a wise person than to listen to the song of fools. Like the crackling of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of fools. This too is meaningless. Extortion turns a wise person into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the heart. The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Do not say, why were the old days better than these? For it is not wise to ask us for it is not wise to ask such questions. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is a good thing and benefits those who see the sun. Wisdom is a shelter, as money is a shelter, but the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it. Consider what God has done, who can straighten what he has made crooked. When times are good, be happy, but when times are bad, consider this: God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these: the righteous perishing in their righteousness, and the wicked living along in their wickedness. Do not be over righteous, neither be over wise. But why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. Wisdom makes one wise person more powerful than 10 rulers in a city. Indeed, there is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. For you know in your heart that many times you yourself have cursed others. All this I tested by wisdom, and I said, I am determined to be wise, but this was beyond me. Whatever exists is far off and most profound. Who can discover it? So I turned my mind to understand, to investigate, and to search out wisdom in the scheme of things, and to understand the stupidity of wickedness and the madness of folly. I find more bitter than death the woman who is a snare, and whose heart is a trap, and whose hands are chains. The man who pleases God will escape her, but the sinner she will ensnare. Look, says the teacher, this is what I have discovered, adding one thing to another to discover the scheme of things. While I was still searching, but not finding, I found one upright man among 1,000, but not one upright woman among them all. This only have I found: God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. Excuse me. This one, this only thing I have found: God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. So that's the very, that's the very last verse right here. And those of y'all that were there when we listened to when we went through the entire book of Proverbs, there's so much there. There's so much there, and I would suspect still that my thought process on Solomon was right. He didn't really put himself in a position of learning more, because he's like, he didn't find, like, dude, you didn't find one wise woman. You didn't find one upright woman. All right. I'm gonna give you the Dr. Umar look. That's one of the gifs that that goes around concerning Dr. Umar. He's like, seriously? And so this is wild, but the reality is you can definitely make sure that you check out wisdom. Wisdom is so important. And wisdom, the definition: the ability to discern or judge what is right, what is true, right, or lasting insight, common sense, good judgment, the sum of learning through the ages, knowledge, wise teachings of the sages, a wise outlook, plan, or course of action. Wisdom, Bible wisdom of Solomon, right? The ability or result of an ability to think and act utilizing knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight, accumulated knowledge, erudition, or enlightenment. Archaic, a wise saying or wise sayings or teachings. Obsolete soundness of mind. There's a whole lot of this, right? The state of this quality or state of being wise, sagacity, discernment or insight, scholarly knowledge or learning. Wise sayings or teachings, precepts, a wise act or saying, a maxim, axiom, proverb, or old saying. And today's question, you know what I'm saying, is enough wisdom being shared? I'm going to say no. There needs to be more wisdom that's being shared. If you have the knowledge, you have, you know what I'm saying, you have the knowledge of the older people, of the older generation, you need to share it. People need help. You know what I'm saying? That's why I talk to you guys a lot on a whole bunch of stuff. And that is, weighing pros and cons, counting the cost. And we got to do better with that. And even myself, you know what I'm saying? We all need to practice these things, the things that are taught, the things that have peace, the things that are of sound mind, right? You got to ask yourself that. And you got to do the search. You got to put the time in. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. And a big part of that is making sure that you're exercising wisdom. So be encouraged to actually share it. Be somebody who's sharing it. That's what I really want to say. All right. So be smart and have a phenomenal